So when this show first came out, I taught this song so many times, I swore I'm not teaching it ever again. And I've only had one other song that I've taught that much over the last 24 years of being a voice teacher, and that was Hallelujah. As cool of a song as that is, I taught that too many times, and I was like, okay, I need a break from this one. But for this video, I am willing to dive back in and listen to Popular and work through it once again for the sake of understanding and study, and also celebrating these two amazing performances. Kristin Chenoweth is amazing. Ariana Grande is amazing. We're going to go through and see how they made different artistic choices. This is not about pitting them against each other to say who's better. This is about study. This is about learning. This is about growth. So that's what we're going to do here. All right, let's jump right in. But before we do, my name's Tim. I've been, as I said, a vocal instructor for the last 24 years. I teach in person around the Manhattan, tri-state, Philadelphia area. I have an amazing team of 8 voice teachers currently that are teaching with me. Incredible people. If you need voice lessons, hit us up. We also teach online. We have students all over the world. Okay, here we go. I'm going to jump right in. We're going to start with Kristin Chenoweth, and then we're going to switch over to Ariana and just go back and forth and just compare them and talk about them and see what's different.
Alfie, now that we're friends, I've decided to make you my new project.
You really don't have to do that.
I know. That's what makes me so nice. Whenever I see someone less fortunate than I, and let's face it, who isn't less fortunate than I, my tender heart tends to start to bleed.
Notice how brassy, notice how pointy, notice how much projection is in her voice. This is singing for the stage as opposed to singing for a film.
And when someone needs a makeover, I simply have to take over. I know
Hear that?
exactly what they need.
All right, we got that far with Kristin. Now we're going to switch over to Ariana.
Now that we're friends, I've decided to make you my new project.
Oh, you really don't have to do that.
I know. That's what makes me so nice. Whenever I see someone less fortunate than I,
Hear the difference
and let's
already?
face it, right? Who isn't less fortunate than I? My tender heart tends to start to bleed.
Here it's a little lighter. It's a little more airflow in the tone. It's a little more introspective. She's not projecting as much into the theater because there is no theater. It's a movie.
And when someone needs a makeover, I simply have to take over. I know exactly what they need.
What they need. She puts that little riff in there, a little husky, a little poppy, right? So you hear the difference already. Like Ariana Grande sounds more poppy. Kristin Chenoweth sounds more theater. Let's keep going.
And even in your case, though it's the toughest case I've yet to face, don't worry, I'm determined to succeed. Follow my lead, and yes, indeed, you will be.
We'll stop there. There's a little glitch in the audio, but I don't think it's a big enough deal to go back. All right, let's keep going. So you heard, so she's got a lot more points, a lot more projection. Kristin Chenoweth feels like she has more of the character voice of Galinda than Ariana. Ariana does feel like she's enhancing her voice into the brightness a little bit, but not as much as Kristin Chenoweth is.
And even in your case, though it's the toughest case I've yet to face, don't worry,
See, that top note right there was more mixy. Did you notice that? Listen to that.
Though it's the toughest case I've yet to face,
though it's the toughest case I've yet to face.
So she mixed that note, but Kristin gave more power on that note. She belted that out. She had more brass element in her tone.
Don't worry, I'm determined to succeed. Follow my lead, and yes, indeed.
So you can hear Ariana Grande has more tone quality diversity in the way she sings. So here's the big question. Is Kristin Chenoweth singing this way because of the staged version, and Ariana Grande is singing this way because it's a movie version? Not necessarily, I would say, because Kristin Chenoweth later on in the staged show, she sings as quiet and as off her voice and as intimate as Ariana Grande is singing here. but she just chose not to do it during the song Popular as much as Ariana Grande is doing it. Because if we think about musical theater isn't like it was back in the day where everybody's just belting it out like Ethel Merman and just like trying to use their natural voice to fill a theater. It's not like that. Musical theater has been a microphone-based genre of music for a long time now. So that means that we're able to get super light, introspective, husky, and minimal with our singing now on stage in a live show. And so we can't really say that I sang this way because of the stage. I mean, for God's sakes, think about Dear Evan Hansen. Think about any of the Jason Robert Brown musicals. Think about Next to Normal. A lot of these shows have a lot of intimate vocals in them, and they're not pumping them out just for the stage. So we can't say that Kristin Chenoweth is singing this way just for the stage. She's making these artistic choices because her music director and she probably chose that that's how she wanted to do it. Ariana Grande and the music directors for the movie chose to use her voice in a little bit different of a way.
You will be popular. You're gonna be popular.
There's that flip.
Teach you the proper poise when you talk to boys. Little ways to flirt and flounce.
I've worked on that flip with so many people over the years.
I'll show you what shoes to wear, how to fix your hair. Everything that really counts to be popular.
All right, let's stop there. Let's move over.
You will be popular. You're gonna be popular. I'll teach you the
Hold on, there was something fishy in that jump up to the Euler. Let me hear that again. It sounded like somebody messed up on the pitch correcting and left a little scratchy digital artifact in there.
You're gonna be popular.
Yeah, did you hear that little scratch on the way up?
Gonna be popular.
That's not from her vocal cords. Her cords don't make that sound. That's from the pitch correcting software that they used. They didn't clean up that spot. Her sound engineer missed that moment. There is a little catch. That's the sound that your pitch correcting software makes when it doesn't quite grab the note that it's trying to correct accurately. Listen for that again.
Popular. You're gonna be popular.
Hear that little scratch on the way up? That wasn't from Ariana's voice. That was from bad sound engineering. You know, this is why I'm talking about this. I want to talk about this more online. Like, this is a thing in the music business. Stop doing it. She didn't need it there.
To the proper place when you talk to boys. The ways to flirt and flounce. I'll show you what shoes to wear, how to fix your hair. Everything that really counts to be popular.
So she definitely has more warm tone quality, less character voice sound in the way that she's singing, right?
I'll help you be popular. You'll hang with our right cohorts. You'll be good at sports. Know the slang you've got to know. So let's start, because you've got an awfully long way to go.
Good. I want to point out something really awesome that Kristin is doing right here. Listen how she's da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. She's doing that little flip. She's doing it so fluently. I just want to point that out because that's really hard to do.
Be popular. I'll help you be popular. You'll hang with our right cohorts. You'll be good at sports. Know
Hear
the
those
slang
flips?
you've got to know.
And then on got, she didn't do the flip into the light mechanism. She kept got. She kept that belt here. She's good.
So let's start, because you've got an awfully long way to go.
All right.
I'll help you be popular. You'll hang with the right cohorts. You'll be good at sports. Know the slang you've got to know. So let's start, because you've got an awfully long way to go.
So did you notice Ariana really backbeated right there? Awfully long way to go. Like she pushed the vocals way back later. That's something common that you're going to hear in jazz. I've got you under my skin. Like we push things back. It's called backbeating. She did a little backbeating there. But notice she did the same flipping stuff that Kristin did where she da 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 da, and then she belted it more. But she overall was a little lighter, a little less brass element in her tone.
Don't be offended by my frank analysis. Think of it as personality dialysis. Now that I've chosen to become a palace sister and advisor, there's nobody
Pointy.
wiser. Not when it comes to popular.
Nice
I
point.
know about popular.
There's
and
the flip.
with an assist from me to be who you'll be instead of dreary who you were, well, are. There's nothing that can stop you from becoming popular. Lar.
So much brighter, so much pointier and ringier.
Don't be offended by my frank analysis. Think of it as personality dialysis. Now that I've chosen to become a power sister and advisor, there's nobody wiser, not when it comes to popular.
Ariana's is so much windier and lighter and sweeter and warmer and accessible. It's like all of her pop tones she's got in here.
I know about popular, and with an assist from me to be who you'll be instead of dreaming who you were. Well, are
I like that. Who you were. That's
nothing
good.
that can stop you from becoming popular. Lar.
All right, we're back.
La, 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 la. We're gonna make you popular.
Very cutting, very bright.
When I see depressing creatures with unprepossessing features, I remind them on their own behalf to think of
La, 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 la. We're gonna make you popular.
Lighter.
When I see depressing creatures with unprepossessing features, I remind them on their own behalf to think of.
So much more airflow allowance in her tone, so much more wind in it. And what does that do? It makes the tone more accessible. It's less pointy, less cutting, less biting, less like a theater character voice.
celebrated heads of state,
Like
or
that.
especially great communicators. Did they have brains or knowledge? Don't make me laugh. They were popular. Please, it's all about popular. It's not
flip.
about aptitude. It's the way you're viewed. So it's very shrewd to be very, very popular, like me.
Celebrated heads of state or especially great communicators. Did they have brains or knowledge? Don't make me laugh.
I like
They
that.
were popular. Right! It's all about popular. It's
was
not
good.
about aptitude. It's the way you're viewed. So it's very true to be very, very popular, like me.
I like how she's showing her poppiness, but not in an overly poppy way. She's adding in little changes, she's adding in little riffs, but she's not going crazy with it to where it's like becoming all about that. Have you noticed that?
Why, Miss Elphaba, look at you. You're beautiful.
I have to go.
You're welcome. And though you protest your disinterest, I know clandestinely
So good, man.
you're gonna grin and bear it, your newfound popularity.
So I have to say, when this show first came out and when I first heard Kristin, one of the things that I talked about a lot when I was teaching and just sort of getting into her singing was how good she is at stylistic diversity. To sing this role of Galinda the way that she did it, you've got to be an opera singer, you've got to be a character voice type musical theater style singer, and you need to be a pop singer, or at least have all of these coordinations in there, because the way she performed it, she did that in the performance. So it kind of set this precedent for this role. Because when she comes down in the bubble in the Broadway show, she's straight up an opera singer. But then later on in the show, it's very, very pop style singing. So Kristin Chenoweth can sing like a pop singer. She's just going back and forth a lot in the show. Ariana kept it more poppy.
La, 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 you'll be popular, just not quite as popular as me.
And though you protest your disinterest, I know clandestinely.
Oh, I like that.
You're gonna grin and bear it, your newfound popularity. La, la,
Different.
You'll be popular.
Lots of airflow, husky, poppy sounds there.
Just not quite as popular as
So that last note is a note that sounds like it might have a little pitch correcty stuff on it there. I'm going to pull up in my software and see if it is or not. But overall, I'm not feeling like it is very pitch correcty like a couple people were saying. I definitely feel like the end of Defying Gravity had more post vocal effects processing put on it than this song, but that last note did sound like it might be. All right, we're going to look at that last note here. I extracted her vocal and pulled it into Logic Pro and did a pitch analysis of it. Let's check that out right now.
just not quite as popular as me.
So that note right there, this one, it looks a little funny to me. Normally, the human voice is not that straight. And I do have some other vocals of Ariana Grande, some a cappella vocals, and she doesn't have that straight of lines in any of her vocals. This definitely, I mean, I can't say 100% because you don't really know, but I will say that this one this part here, this first part looks super pitch corrected, as well as this note. They just look too perfect. Like, look at how straight that line is. Look at how perfectly in the center it is. Ariana Grande is amazing, but that's like not human looking vocals. Now, I'm not 100% saying that that was pitch corrected, but if I were a betting man and if I were to say, like, what percentage chance do you think that was pitch corrected? I would say like 95%. It looks very unnatural, that note. Which, again, we don't need it. She doesn't need it. She can sing in tune. I've got a recording of her singing I Believe in You and Me that is a cappella that is incredible, and her pitch is amazing, and it's not at all auto-tuned. I think I might do a video just showing that so you can see the difference. Like, nothing looks that clean when you sing it natural, But anyway, I don't think that's a big deal. Overall, it didn't sound very pitch correcty to me, to my ears, as much as I was expecting it to. I really thought that the end of Defying Gravity had more just overly pitch corrected, overly processed vocals in post on it than this one. But, it's amazing. It's really fun to listen to those. Clearly different. Ariana Grande and Kristin Chenoweth definitely sing this song differently. Kristin Chenoweth has more point, more brass, more theatrical pronunciation and projection. Ariana Grande has more dynamic contrast in her singing. She's lighter and huskier at times, but then she does also bring the brass in. Kristin stays a little bigger and more theatrical the whole time, but they are both amazing, amazing performances. What's your take on these performances? What are the differences that you hear? What are the things that you prefer as far as artistic choices from one of the performers over the others? How do you feel it being a movie should change the way that someone sings it, or should it not change it at all now that contemporary musical theater is able to sing as intimate as movies because of our headset mics and all of that type of stuff? What do you think about all that? I definitely have noticed over the years that this lighter, huskier, airflowy sound is becoming a bigger part of the collective way that people sing in the world in general. And it just makes sense that that's what Ariana is doing here, as well as Cynthia Erivo. Cynthia Erivo is singing with a lot more poppiness in the way she's performing it compared to the way that Idina Menzel and Kristin Chenoweth sang it back in the day. So what are your thoughts on that? What do you prefer out of these? I think they're both amazing. That was a lot of fun to listen to. Thanks for watching this to the end. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification to stay up to date. And also come on over to my Patreon if you want to talk more about music. If you want to let me know some thoughts on this, let me know. All right. I'll talk to you all soon. Cheers.